Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn, and I'm here today to talk about some of the most common myths regarding synths. I was inspired to do this video based on many of the comments that viewers left on my video, Are Synths People? And many of the comments were like, no, synths are not people because they're immune to radiation damage. Or no, synths are not people because they don't sleep at night unlike humans. And stuff like that. So I figured I would take the time to use this video to go over 3 or 4 of the major myths regarding synths that many of you have been talking about on my channel. So let's get to it. By the way, please bear in mind that this video does contain spoilers about which characters are synths. So if you don't know who's a synth or not, and you don't want to know who's a synth or not, you may not want to watch this video. There are no major quest spoilers in this video, but I do talk about a few side characters and whether or not they are synths. So just a heads up. So for this first myth, we're going to dispel the idea that synths are somehow immune to radiation. The synth we're going to test this on is none other than the very lovely Magnolia. We all know she's a synth, but just to verify, let's kill her and loot that synth component.
Oh, God.
Let's get this over with.
And there it is. Let's reload the previous save. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to attack her with a gamma gun. A gamma gun does 0 ballistic damage, 0 energy damage, 0 any other kind of damage but rad damage. It only does radiation damage. So if the myth is true that synths are immune to radiation, this should have no effect. Let's see what happens. Oh, and look at that. We have ourselves one dead synth, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check out that synth component, and there it is. Killed by nothing more than radiation. Oh, Preston didn't like that. Alright, I'll send him to the castle. He's gonna like it there. Alright, so here we are at Spectacle Island, and I have previously discovered that this settler is a synth. So, she should be immune to radiation, right? Well.
Hey there, friend. Preston Garvey. Commonwealth.
Nope. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Synth component. She was a dirty synth, but now she's a dead synth. Bye, Preston. Alright, well, let's say that you're still not convinced. Maybe you'll say something like, well, that was weaponized radiation damage. I'm talking about environmental radiation damage. Okay, well, here we are in Swan's Pond, and I'm standing right next to this big barrel of radioactive waste, getting 11 rads per second. Let's use the console to move Magnolia to our location and see how long it takes for her to die. Hey, Mags. It's working. I mean, look at that. This proves right here that they do take radiation damage. Look at her life. It's already a third of the way gone. Alright, now I'm going to die here. Let's cure ourselves. Oh, okay, and she's marked essential. But look, had she not been essential, she would have died of radiation damage. Look at that. Look at her life. So, she does take radiation damage. Unfortunately, she can't be killed unless you, the player character, kills her. But she's a synth, and she does take radiation damage. Alright, here we are in the middle of the ocean. Typically, you take radiation damage, but I have the Aqua Girl perk, so my character does not. However, settlers can. Let's move a settler that we know is a synth to the middle of the ocean and see how long it takes for her to die. And where'd she go? I moved her to my location, but I only see... There she is! I was wondering where she was. She's down here. Why is she down there? Go up. Up. Where'd my settler? There she is. She's swimming. Is she swimming under... Okay, this is going to invalidate the experiment. She could just drown. There we go. She's rising up. Okay, finally. So, she can rescue herself by rising to the surface. So that means we know she's not going to drown, which means that if she does die, it's due to radiation damage. And look at that, she's already at half life. But she's going to get to the shore before she dies, so let me go back and move her again into the middle of the ocean. There she is. That should kill her. Oh, and there she goes. Also marked protected. So, just like Magnolia, she can't die unless I kill her. But that shows that it is harming her. Radiation is harming her. And she would have died had she not been marked protected. Alright, the next myth is that synths don't sleep. So, obviously the best way to test this is for me to sleep with Magnolia. Right? Because sleeping with Magnolia is totally not a euphemism for anything else. I just hope that Kate doesn't mind. You're gonna be alright with it, right? That's right. Alright, Mags, I'm getting tired. Let's hit the sack.
Hey.
What's the matter, handsome? Don't tell me you didn't like the song.
I love the song. It was perfect.
I think the song wasn't the only thing you were enjoying.
Oh, well, thank you.
Kate disliked
A girl
that.
tries her best. So what brings a man like you to my part of town?
I just need a nap. That's all. I'm just super exhausted.
I came here for a strong whiskey.
What can I do for you?
I need a nap, buddy.
I was wondering if we could get to know each other better.
Oh, really? Go on.
Kate hated that.
You, me, an evening walk under the streetlights.
And then what?
Music.
I knew you were something special, all right?
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
Let me get my coat.
Alright, Kate, you just hang out here. I'll be back later.
I haven't been out on the town in too long.
Kate hated that.
Thank you. I'm afraid my first love is always going to be the stage, though. When I'm up there singing, I'll be thinking of you.
And there you have it. Conclusive evidence. Myth busted. Synths do sleep. Whoa. Hey, Kate. You been hanging out there in the hall long? Yeah, alright. Well, let's hit the road. And to test this on settlers, here we are at Spectacle Island again, and as you can see, the settlers are all going home for the evening. Let's see, what time is it? It is 2:16 a.m., so settlers should be going to sleep. Let's see if I can find that settler synth. And there she is. There is our settler synth on her way to bed. Let's check the time. It's 3:09 a.m., so it's still in the middle of sleep time. I don't want to get too close and interrupt her animation, so I'm keeping my distance so that she continues to ignore me, and let us see if she lies down in bed and goes to sleep. Great, I'm going to be a disgusting peeping and do this through the window because I don't want to mess up her sleep animation. Look at that, there she goes, lying down in bed, going to sleep. So, that is pretty much myth busted. Synths do sleep. And just to confirm, let's kill this synth with nothing but radiation damage and check out that synth component. Oh wait, no! Sandman kill. Oh, looks like I roused the ghouls. And it is a synth. Synth component. Busted. The next myth we're going to debunk is that synths have higher energy resistance than other humans. The theory goes that you can tell someone is a synth by simply using the awareness perk in VATS, to detect their higher energy resistance. So we all know that Sturgis is a synth. So if he has higher energy resistance than any other settler, then we know that this myth is true. But if it's the same, then it's busted. So to perform this, we need to make sure that he's wearing the exact same armor as another person, because armor has different resistances. So let's
I just need to trade gear with you.
trade here. I've got some tattered rags. I'm gonna make sure that this guy is wearing just the tattered rags.
What's up?
All right, now let's see what his resistances are in VATS. Nothing. It says level 6, and there are no resistances. Okay. Well, I think that pretty much debunks the myth right there, because 0 is pretty much as low as it gets. But just to make sure that this is exactly the same, here is a settler that I put in dirty rags earlier, and let's check out what her resistances are. Also 0. Now let's just make sure that she's not a synth. And no, she is not a synth. Next up, there are a variety of myths about settlements regarding synths. One of them is that synths negatively affect happiness. And this one actually might make a little bit of sense because, as we know, robots negatively affect happiness. And that's because a robot's happiness is capped at 50%. So if you have a robot in your settlement, it's going to draw the average happiness of that settlement down. And so even if you increase your settlement's population by 1 robot, the overall cap of that settlement's happiness goes down. That's why robots make settlements less happy. But the same is not true about synths. I actually did an entire different video on this, disproving that synths make settlements less happy. There are also myths about synths harming crops and other resources in your settlements by sabotaging them, and that you can tell a settler is a synth because sometimes they get paranoid and they pull out their gun and they walk around. Now, none of those are true, but there is a seed of truth in that, and the reason is because the way Bethesda tells their synth story has a lot to do with the choices you make in your game. So, if you do what I did, and you killed the Institute and you sided with the Railroad or the Minutemen, then synths in your settlement are completely harmless, like this one. This synth acts just like any other normal settler. It eats, it sleeps, it has the exact same kind of happiness, it never attacks your settlement. In fact, my settlements never get attacked by the Institute or by synths, because the Institute is destroyed. However, if you're playing earlier in the game, before you met the Institute, it is possible for some of your settlements to get random quests where a settler synth will attack the settlement. And the way the game does this is it will take one of your existing settlers, place a synth component on that settler, and then trigger the quest, causing that settler to hold another settler hostage or to join in with a synth attack. It's a scripted event that is injected into the game in very specific scenarios. If you haven't destroyed the Institute yet, if you haven't met the Railroad yet, stuff like that. Now, if you met the Railroad and you've talked with Father, those stop. Your settlements no longer get attacked by synths, and those injected encounters stop happening. That makes synths completely and perfectly safe to have as settlers in your settlement. This can also be explained by the kinds of synths there are in the lore. So if you follow the story, you know that there are 2 kinds of synths. The first kind is like Roger Warwick. He is an agent of the Institute. He was sent to the Warwick homestead to infiltrate it. He killed the original Roger Warwick and replaced that man as the head of the Warwick household. The same is true for the art versus art random encounter. You've got 2 people that look exactly the same. One is a synth and one is not. The synth came from the Institute as part of their social experiment. The same is true for when you find the synth of Preston Garvey roaming the wasteland. He was created by the Institute to cause chaos and confusion in the Commonwealth. That's the first class of synth. The second class of synth is an escaped synth. These are synths that escaped the Institute, went to the railroad for help, and had their minds wiped. They don't even know that they're synths. These are the kind of synths that show up to your settlements as settlers. This synth right here is a former Institute synth who escaped the Institute and found refuge at my settlement. This isn't just headcanon, this is the way the lore of the game goes. Every time you recruit a settler, you have a small percentage chance for one of those settlers to become a synth. This means that the larger your settlement gets, the more synths you have in your settlement. This one, for example, has 36 settlers, and I have 2 synths. One just walked by, and there's the other one. But these synths don't actually do anything. They don't attack, they don't sabotage resources, they escaped from the Institute, they don't even know that they're synths, and they just want a regular, normal life. Just to clarify, that's not true earlier in the game. Earlier in the game, it is possible to find a synth in your settlement that does betray your settlement. The synth might join with the Institute when the Institute attacks your settlement, and you might find their body dead with the synth component on it in the aftermath. But later in the game, that is not the case. Well, let me know what you thought of the video, ladies and gentlemen. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please leave a comment in the comments section below. I read all of the comments on my videos, and I use your comments as inspiration for my next videos. The only reason I made this video is because many people have been leaving comments related to synth myths on my videos, and I figured it would be a good thing to address them. Be sure to subscribe for more Fallout 4 videos. I produce a new Fallout 4 video every single day of the week. And if you like what I do, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Patreon subscribers gain access to my private Discord server as well as a bunch of other really cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so glad you're here watching. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning with a brand new video.